Welcome to your weekly forecast. My name is Adina. I'm an intuitive astrologer. In this week's forecast, we will be going over the energies for October 9th to the 15th, 2023. If you align with my energy and enjoy my content, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. And also feel free to comment below if you have any questions about the energy. I love to hear your feedback. And I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to all of my fellow Canadians. Okay, so this week is very eventful. We are approaching the dynamic solar eclipse we are having in Libra, which I will be posting a separate video going into all of that energy today or tomorrow. So make sure you're watching for that because there is a lot of surrounding energies. And when we're talking about eclipses, we're talking about a story that is playing out and energies coming in for us to release and let something or someone go, and a new journey that we're moving into, a new direction. So eclipses are very dynamic. The energy is heightened, especially this week while we are approaching the eclipse that we are going to have on the 14th. But we also now have Venus in Virgo. Venus entered Virgo October 8th. And so as we come into the week on the 9th, we have this new energy now that we're moving through, which is going to feel a lot different. We've had Venus in Leo since June. We had Venus retrograde in Leo. So Venus has been in Leo for a very long time. Venus moving into Virgo is going to be felt. This is an energy too that can be a little bit difficult and tricky because Venus is at her fall in Virgo. She is not able to really express herself how she wants in Virgo. Now, this is an energy I really want you to be mindful of when it has to do with when it has to do with really over criticizing yourself and becoming very laser focused or stuck on a specific journey or outcome. This is a time to really be mindful of that. Don't get stuck on, putting yourself down if something does not play out the way you thought. And this can very much be a Venus and Virgo energy. This is also, and I heard another astrologer use this analogy, which I thought was really great, is when you're like tweezing your eyebrows or plucking your eyebrows and you do way too much because you're trying to get it a certain way and then you end up doing it, overdoing it. That can be a Venus and Virgo energy, right? Getting stuck on needing something to be very perfect to the point where you overdo it. We want to be careful of that as well. Now, Venus is going to be in Virgo until November 8th. So she's spending an entire month in Virgo. Now on Monday, we have the moon in Leo, which will eventually form a square to Uranus. And I always say that when we have the moon connecting to Uranus, especially with a conjunction, opposition, or square, we really do want to be mindful of anxiety. The moon is an indicator of the body and our emotions, our feelings. Uranus, which rules the electrical systems in our body, this is where we can be feeling a little bit extra anxious. If you can, do some grounding, drink a lot of water, eat a lot of rooted vegetables. That can definitely help with balancing out the energy within the body. And you also want to, this can too be where we are picking up on so many energies around us. So make sure you're energetically protecting yourself. You're putting that energetic shield around your body. I envision myself literally in an energetic bubble, a white bubble, and it's a shield, and nothing negative can come in. And I visualize that, and it works. So try it out because it can definitely be helpful for this. It's always helpful, but especially for this month because we're in so many intense energies. We're also coming off of that Mars square to Pluto that we had over the weekend, which came exact on Saturday, October 7th. And that may have felt very intense. Having Mars square Pluto, there may have been power and control dynamics showing up, anger, aggression, conflict. Mars also severs things. Mars is about to, what is the word I'm thinking of? Severs, cuts. There's something separating with this energy. And so something may have been brought to your attention, causing something to separate, to sever really with that Mars energy, or at least the beginning of, right? Like something may have shown up where now you're sitting with the energy, you're sitting with the experience or situation that you moved through. And moving through the motions and thinking, is this something that is in alignment with me? Can I live with this? Is this for my greater good? Is this aligned with the direction that I want to move in? Or is this holding me back in some way? And that question right there is what we need to be asking ourselves through this entire month, especially with the eclipses. Venus is the ruler of both eclipses this month. The solar eclipse that we are having on the 14th in Libra this week, and also the eclipse we're having in Taurus October 28th, which is finalizing energies that we've been moving through since the end of 2021, beginning of 2022. So I will get into all that energy in a separate video, but I did want to mention that Venus is a key player. Venus is also in a whole bunch of inconjunctions, which is especially with Neptune, and there's actually an inconjunction between the South Node and Neptune. And what I really feel, and I'll get into this in the solar eclipse energy, but I just want to mention it in this weekly forecast because this is very much an energy of asking yourself, are you being true to you? Are you doing what is in alignment with you? And really building that self-trust, I think, is very important right now. And focusing on your intuition and what your energy is saying to you, and making sure that you're not, because it's Libra, sometimes there's a lot of Libra energy right now. And so I feel like there's a lot coming up where we're starting to become aware of where we've been giving too much of ourselves away, maybe even at a detriment to ourselves, right? Where you're wanting to make everyone else happy at the expense of your own happiness. And that's very much energies we're moving through for the entire month. Now, coming into the week on Tuesday, well, not coming in, I guess October 10th, Tuesday. So not Monday, but once we get to Tuesday, we're going to have Venus form an opposition to Saturn. And this is where there can be something showing up where there's restriction, there's a block to something. Saturn restricts. Saturn can put a hold to something or a stop. There's resistance here. So Venus wanting to express herself in some way, and Venus being in Virgo, there can be a very particular way of wanting to express yourself, and you're being met with resistance. You're being blocked. There's a no. Venus is wanting to express herself, and Saturn is saying, no, not right now. This is not going to happen how you want. And so we do want to be mindful of this energy, especially Tuesday, when that opposition becomes exact. Saturn's at 1 degrees at this point. Saturn's going to move back to 0 degrees. But so once Venus gets to that 1 degree point of Virgo, she's going to form that opposition exact. But this can definitely be felt as we come into the week, even though it's not exact, but it can feel most intense on Tuesday. I hope that made sense. And then also on October 10th, we have Pluto stationing direct. So we have Venus in this opposition to Saturn. We also have the Sun forming an opposition to Chiron, and then we have Pluto stationing direct. And when Pluto stations, there's still that square to Mars. So there's something here where you're wanting to control something, and there's a need to let go of control. There is a need to surrender, to say, maybe I can't control everything. I need to trust divine timing. I need to trust the process. Whatever happens, and trust that whatever happens is for the greater good of you. You are on your highest timeline. And as long as you put your energy on that highest timeline, and you are reprogramming your subconscious that you are on your highest timeline, whatever falls on your path is going to be for your highest timeline and guiding you towards your highest timeline. So when we're going through this sticky energy that can be a little bit challenging and difficult, we really want to practice mindfulness and be taking care of our energy and saying our affirmations and doing our part to create our reality. We don't want to sit here and think that everything is just going to come to us without putting in the work. We have to say our affirmations, right? We have to be taking care of our energy, feeling what it feels like to have what you want. And that is how you manifest. And I'm actually creating a course on manifestation. I will let you know when it's finished. But the reason why a lot of people are so not successful with manifestation is because there's so much more to just saying your affirmations. You have to act and feel and be how you would be if you already manifested the whatever it is you're trying to manifest. And so that's very much how we want to move through this energy. We want to release control because there's something that can really show up here that can be quite difficult, challenging, and we want to just stop and say, okay, I surrender, I release control, I'm letting go, and I know I am on my highest timeline, and whatever falls on my path, it is meant to be. And just trust the process and trust divine timing. So I hope that helps move through some of this energy here for the entire month, not just this week. And then with the sun opposition at Chiron, there can be, in the midst of all of this other energy, there can be something very triggering. And it can be that whole thing around control, where maybe if you're one who feels like if you lose control, everything is going to fall to pieces or fall apart, that can be a part of this energy as well, with that sun opposition to Chiron, where there's a need for balance. So there's very much this week a need to just release control, surrender, even if there's something that is triggering with an old wound, vulnerability, because that's that Chiron energy. So just be mindful of that. Now on Tuesday, we also have the moon in Virgo. The moon enters Virgo on Tuesday and will form a conjunction to Venus, being a part of that Venus opposition to Saturn. And so we also want to be mindful of our feelings, our emotions. There's very much this feeling and need to have that specific outcome. And so I don't want to keep repeating myself, but the moon conjunct Venus with that opposition to Saturn can just intensify that energy. So again, on Tuesday, there can be a lot coming up. There can be a lot bubbling up on Tuesday where you're having to release that control. You're being met with resistance. There's a stop or a hold or a no to something, and just trust and focus on your energy, say your affirmations, balance your energy, and that's really the best way. And trusting divine timing, right? Just trusting if something is not working out, that it's not meant to happen at this moment. Now, as we come into Wednesday, we're going to have the moon form a trine to Jupiter, which is beautiful. That's beautiful supportive energy. This is where you can really start to feel, and you can start to trust the process, and you can feel that optimism again, that hope, that faith in your belief to surrender, to let go, and to trust divine timing. There's a comforting feeling here on Wednesday that is really providing that reassurance that is, if you let go, if you release, and if you trust, that it's not going to fall apart, right? It's not going to come crashing down. So Wednesday, there's a lot of beautiful supportive energy with that moon trine to Jupiter. Once we get to Thursday, we have Mars entering Scorpio and forming a trine to Saturn. So Mars in Scorpio is a great energy for personal drive, motivation, willpower. Mars is the traditional ruler of Scorpio. This is energy of really being able to take action and be methodical on how you want to take action, be precise. This is a great energy, especially too because we've had Mars in Libra. Mars does not do the greatest in Libra. Mars is at its fall in Libra. And so, or at detriment, Mars is at detriment in Libra. And so Mars being in Scorpio, his home sign, this is very much a beautiful energy of being able to focus now on a certain direction that you want to take. There could be clarity now. There could be something showing up for you where now you have a better understanding of the direction that you want to move in. Now, when Mars forms a trine to Saturn, this is great for commitment, responsibility, taking care of things, right? Doing what needs to be done. There's a lot of supportive energy here for that. We also have the moon still in Virgo forming a trine to Uranus. Now, this can be really great for intuitive downloads. So pay attention to your intuitive messages that you are receiving on Thursday. Your thoughts. This is a great time to journal. When you're driving, what are you thinking about? If you can be mindful and kind of pay attention to that, sometimes there can be beautiful nuggets of information and guidance within those just random thoughts, right? So this is a great day to be paying attention to your thoughts, your intuition, your energy, what your energy is how your energy is speaking to you. And I know that sounds funny, but what you're feeling intuitively, because of that moon trine to Uranus. Uranus is known as the Great Awakener and can heighten intuition at this time, especially when this is a trine. Now, this can show up in a way where we can feel a little anxious again because it's the moon connecting to Uranus. So we want to be mindful of that. But this really is a beautiful supportive energy for intuition and intuitive messages. On Thursday, we will also have the moon form an opposition to Neptune. So the moon forms a trine to Uranus. A few hours later, the moon is going to form an opposition to Neptune. We're talking about our feelings, emotions, and intuition. Neptune can sometimes be a little bit confusing, and because it's an opposition, there can be something confusing at this time on Thursday where how you're feeling about a specific situation or experience, whatever it is you're currently moving through, there's something confusing about this. There's something you're not understanding where you feel a certain type of way and you're asking yourself, almost, am I validated for how I'm feeling? And that's what I'm feeling intuitively too, where there can be a lot of feelings and emotions about something, but there's confusion. Asking yourself, should I be feeling this way? Am I right for feeling this way? And know that your feelings are always validated, right? Like you're able to feel how you want to feel in a situation. No one can take that away from you. If somebody does something that makes you feel a certain type of way, we're all different. Our boundaries are different, right? What each and every one of us accepts within relationships is different. And so if this is something you're moving through, and I'm saying this because it's a message I'm getting right now, so I'm trusting that someone needs to hear this. But if you're questioning yourself this week about feeling a certain type of way about an experience or situation, yes, your feelings are validated. There can be something confusing, and because it's Neptune, and Neptune can be an energy also of seeing things with rose-colored glasses and seeing things for how you want it to be, but not necessarily for what it is. This is also another energy we want to watch for on Thursday, trusting your intuition. And this is Neptune really saying, trust your intuition. Trust what you are feeling. What you're feeling is validated, and don't second guess it. If you're feeling a certain type of way, those feelings and intuition is saying something to you. And so I hope that makes sense. But again, that was a message I feel like I needed to say. It came to me intuitively. But yes, there can be a lot of confusing emotions on Thursday at some point. So, and even too with that moon trine to Uranus, really heightened emotions where we're feeling very emotionally unstable. There's not a lot of stability with our emotions. And then with that opposition to Neptune, it can really heighten that up. And it's where, ask yourself, are you seeing things for what they are and not what you want them to be? And the moon will also be forming a trine to Pluto at the same time, intensifying your emotions and what you're feeling. And Pluto can be a very psychic energy. Pluto is very intense and very powerful. So there's also too, I feel like, where the opposition to Neptune is having you question for a moment, but then Pluto is coming in and saying, no, like step in your power. Like this is who you are. This is what you want, and that is okay. And then on Friday, we have the moon in Libra now approaching the solar eclipse energy, because we have the solar eclipse at 21 degrees of Libra. And so once the moon enters Libra, we officially are in that eclipse energy, and the energy is going to feel intense. It's going to be heightened on Friday. And so the moon is going to start moving closer to Mercury and the sun and all of that energy. But what we can start to feel is the intensity of the energies that are going to be showing up for us with this solar eclipse. Now, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this is a story playing out. So once we get to Saturday, let's just get into it. Into the eclipse energy. Once we get to Saturday, we have the moon forming a conjunction to Mercury and then forming a conjunction to the sun at 21 degrees of Libra. We have the south node at 24 degrees of Libra. And so the nodes represent where we are having the eclipses. I will post videos, and actually at the end, I created a video about the north node being in Aries and the south node being in Libra. And I have also created a video on my channel explaining what the nodes are and what it means if you're having a nodal return or nodal reversal. So I'll link all those videos in this video here at the end. You can check those out. But the nodes represent where we are having the eclipses. And so on Saturday, October 14th, we're having the solar eclipse in Libra at 21 degrees. I'm going to make a separate video going really deep into all of this energy, and also going through getting into all 12 rising signs. But just to touch on it quickly, this eclipse is happening with the south node, because we have the south node in Libra. So this is bringing energies in, new energies, new experiences and situations that are eventually going to have us releasing and letting something or someone go in our life. And this energy is going to play out anywhere from 6 months to a year. Eclipse energy, sometimes longer too, depending on how long the eclipse is. But eclipse energy is basically, every time we enter eclipse season, you can look at it as more energy coming in to the story that is playing out with this whole eclipse nodal cycle in this area of our chart. So you want to know where you have Aries and Libra. And again, watch for that video. I will be posting it either today or tomorrow. And you can, as long as you know your rising sign, you'll know where this energy is taking place. And that'll give you an idea of themes and topics that are going to be front and center with this entire nodal ecliptic story. But this is new energies coming in for this story that is going to play out. So it's not just something happening this month or this week. There's new energies coming in. There can be something really big showing up, but it's something you're going to be moving through over the next year and a half with the eclipses in Aries and Libra. So keep that in mind. Now, I also want to mention that Pluto is still in that T-square to the north and south node. And this is energy that we have been moving through for months now, where there's this intensity of like feeling that there's something you need to let go of and that there's something new coming in, but it requires you again to release control. There's a lot here of releasing control. Pluto is like hanging on very tightly, and you can only go in one direction, and you're wanting to go in both, and you can't. You have to let something go, and that can be part of that Pluto T-square to the nodes. And so the fact that we're in eclipses and the energy here is being heightened, there can be something showing up for you where you are having a better understanding of what you're hanging on to and wanting to control. And there can even be something coming up where it loosens that control for you, where you're almost met with no other choice but to let go. So we definitely want to be mindful of that. I will talk about those energies as well in the forecast that I'm going to create for the solar eclipse. So yes. And then once we get into Sunday, we have the moon entering Scorpio. And as soon as the moon enters Scorpio, the moon is going to form a trine to Saturn and then form a conjunction to Mars and a sextile to Venus. So Sunday, emotions are very heightened. Now the moon in Scorpio can already be a very intense energy, very powerful. Scorpio is a very psychic energy as well. Now when the moon forms a trine to Saturn, this is very great for even to the moon being in Scorpio Scorpio with Mars, this is very much having that motivation, willpower, and drive to go after what you want, especially with all of that kind of combined. And then the moon forming the sextile to Venus. This is where sextiles are opportunities, but they require you to take action. You have to take action on something in order to really move in that direction and receive the benefits of that energy. And so there's almost something here where you develop the understanding and the knowing that, okay, I know if I move in this direction or I take this opportunity, there's something very powerful here on the other side for me. There's it's a really great energy, especially too that we have Mars in Scorpio. There's a lot of powerful now I do want to mention, because whenever we do have the moon form a conjunction to Mars, because the moon is our emotions, our feelings, and Mars is anger, aggression, and conflict, we do want to be mindful of that. That can be a thing. So where this is very powerful energy and great for motivation, willpower, and drive, we do want to be mindful of that anger, aggression, and conflict, not just with ourselves, but with other people. Because a lot of other people are not aware of these energies. And so their emotions are kind of like a roller coaster and they don't really understand why. And I think understanding astrology helps. And also following the moon transits. And I know I'm getting a little bit off topic here, but if you get a journal and you start, writing down how you feel when the moon is transiting the different zodiac signs, and then also compare check your transits every day if you don't know how. And if you want to know, I go live on TikTok every single day and I do $5 readings. And what I do is pull your birth chart up and take a look at the transits for you and let you know the energy you're currently moving through and bring guidance and clarity to that. So if you're wanting to know more about that, join me on TikTok. The link is here on my channel, and you can check that out. But I just wanted to mention that. But so on Sunday there can be a lot of heightened emotions, but there can be a lot of, I also feel like, too, power behind the direction you're wanting to go in. It's like now you have a better understanding, you have that motivation, that drive, like, okay, now I know I need to go here, I want to get this done, this is what I want to do, and you have the ability to do that. There's a lot of supportive energy for that. So I hope that this helps you move through the energy for the week. October is a crazy month. I've been talking about it. And so, we're in the second week of October. We're in eclipse. We are in eclipse season, so energy is heightened. But thank you so much for joining me, and I hope this helps you move through the energy for the week ahead. And happy Thanksgiving to all of my fellow Canadians. And I will be posting the solar eclipse forecast within the next 24 hours. So make sure you watch for that. And have a fabulous week, and I will connect with you all in the next one.